I read my eyes out and can't read half enough. The more one reads, the more one sees we have to read. Facts are stubborn things, and whatever may be our wishes, our inclinations, or the dictates of our passion, they cannot alter the state of facts and evidence. Let us tenderly and kindly cherish therefore, the means of knowledge. Let us dare to read, think, speak, and write. A constitution of government once changed from freedom, can never be restored. Liberty, once lost, is lost forever. The longer I live, the more I read, the more patiently I think, and the more anxiously I inquire, the less I seem to know, do justly. Love mercy. Walk humbly. This is enough. Posterity. You will never know how much it cost the present generation to preserve your freedom. I hope you will make a good use of it. I say, that power must never be trusted without a check. Let the human mind loose. It must be loose. It will be loose. Superstition and dogmatism cannot confine it. I must judge for myself, but how can I judge, how can any man judge, unless his mind has been opened and enlarged by reading? To believe all men honest is folly. To believe none is something worse. Government has no right to hurt a hair on the head of an atheist for his opinions. Let him have a care of his practices. The way to secure liberty is to place it in the people's hands, that is, to give them the power at all times to defend it in the legislature and in the courts of justice. You will never be alone with a poet in your pocket. There is danger from all men. The only maxim of a free government ought to be to trust no man living with power to endanger the public liberty. Be not intimidated, nor suffer yourselves to be wheedled out of your liberties by any pretense of politeness, delicacy, or decency. These, as they are often used, are but three different names for hypocrisy, chicanery, and cowardice. The happiness of society is the end of government. The whole drama of the world is such tragedy that I am weary of the spectacle. Liberty must at all hazards be supported. We have a right to it, derived from our Maker. But if we had not, our fathers have earned and bought it for us, at the expense of their ease, their estates, their pleasure, and their blood. And liberty cannot be preserved without a general knowledge among the people who have a right from the frame of their nature to knowledge. When writing the Constitution for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, John Adams wrote, "I must judge for myself, but how can I judge, how can any man judge, unless his mind has been opened and enlarged by reading?" Without the pen of pain, the sword of Washington would have been wielded in vain. Old minds are like old horses, you must exercise them if you wish to keep them in working order. If worthless men are sometimes at the head of affairs, it is, I believe, because worthless men are at the tail and the middle. 19/20ths of mankind is opaque and unenlightened. Intimacy with most people will make you acquainted with vices and errors and follies enough to make you despise them. Laws for the liberal education of youth, especially of the lower class of people, are so extremely wise and useful, that, to a humane and generous mind, no expense for this purpose would be thought extravagant. 20 times in the course of my late reading have I been on the point of breaking out, this would be the best of all possible worlds, if there were no religion in it. Negro slavery is an evil of colossal magnitude, and I am utterly averse to the admission of slavery into the Missouri territories. Can a free government possibly exist with the Roman Catholic religion? When legislature is corrupted, the people are undone. Everything in life should be done with reflection. Remember, democracy never lasts long. It soon wastes, exhausts, and murders itself. There never was a democracy yet that did not commit suicide. There are only two creatures of value on the face of the earth, those with the commitment, and those who require the commitment of others. The true source of our sufferings has been our timidity. Abuse of words has been the great instrument of sophistry and chicanery, of party, faction, and division of society. All the perplexities, confusion, and distress in America arise, not from want of honor or virtue, but from the downright ignorance of the nature of coin, credit, and circulation. The jaws of power are always open to devour, and her arm is always stretched out, if possible, to destroy the freedom of thinking, speaking, and writing. Property monopolized or in the possession of a few is a curse to mankind. Great is the guilt of an unnecessary war. The right of a nation to kill a tyrant in case of necessity can no more be doubted than to hang a robber, or kill a flea. Admire and adore the author of the telescopic universe, love and esteem the work, do all in your power to lessen ill, and increase good, but never assume to comprehend. God is an essence that we know nothing of. Until this awful blasphemy is got rid of, there never will be any liberal science in the world. We think ourselves possessed, or, at least, we boast that we are so, of liberty of conscience on all subjects, and of the right of free inquiry and private judgment in all cases, and yet how far are we from these exalted privileges in fact? Our Constitution was made only for a moral and religious people. It is wholly inadequate to the government of any other. There are persons whom in my heart I despise, others I abhor. Yet I am not obliged to inform the one of my contempt, nor the other of my detestation. This kind of dissimulation is a necessary branch of wisdom, and so far from being immoral, that it is a duty and a virtue. They shall not be expected to acknowledge us until we have acknowledged ourselves. No man who ever held the office of president would congratulate a friend on obtaining it. The foundations of national morality must be laid in private families. I want to see my wife and children every day, I want to see my grass and blossoms and corn. But above all, except the wife and children, I want to see my books. Make things rather than persons the subjects of conversations. Which quotation do you like the most? Don't forget to subscribe.